the sound of a nice Los Angeles morning. So today, I'm going to tell you about something that I have yet to ever tell anyone on social media. Today, I'm going to explain what onward and upward means. And some of you guys might not even know what onward and upward is. If you've been following us for any extended period of time, you know that onward and upward is the motto of Sam and Colby. It's like what we base our lives off of. And because most of you guys are pretty smart, you know that onward and upward would mean forward and getting better, right? That's just the simple terms. But what I'm going to explain to you today is where it all came from and where that whole saying originated, which is a whole different story. I feel like I talk a lot. I tell a lot of stories, but personally I think that's okay, because up until the age of 16 I barely said one word in all of my school years, or even to a lot of my friends. Anyway, as I tell the story, I'm doing a bunch of random stuff, and you might be wondering, what the heck, Sam, are you doing? Why don't you just tell us the freaking story? It's because my car, like, sucks right now. It's, like, broken down, so I am taking it to get it all fixed up. Thank you. I don't really know where I am. I just started walking. You can tell I just randomly walked somewhere because half my Starbucks is already gone. So the story of how Onward and Upward came about starts with my family, specifically with my grandma. For about 10 years, basically the entire time I was going through school, she was battling cancer. She had cancer 4 times throughout my high school years. And if you don't know what it's like to have cancer or go through it, the treatment process and just the fight to get over it is just excruciatingly exhausting, and it takes basically all life out of you. So off and on for about 10 years, my grandma was going through this constantly. Then there was me, just a little kid in middle school, complaining that nothing was going the way I wanted it to. Except sometime right as I was starting high school, my grandmother sent me an email. It was actually one of the first emails I've ever received. She only talked about one thing, and that's her garden. And at the time I didn't really know what it represented, but now it's so much more clear. She said that every day she goes out and looks at her garden. She like waters it, takes care of it, and that's one of the things that keeps her going. Which to someone like me who didn't really appreciate anything, that was super weird. How could you get enthusiasm out of life out of just a garden? She went on to tell me a second story about cancer. And she said that although cancer was the hardest thing she has ever gone through, because of it, her life has changed. And that she is so grateful for the things that going through cancer and going to the hospital has given her. Because she didn't look at the downside. She didn't look at the negative. She only looked at the positive. She said if it wasn't for cancer, she wouldn't have gone to the hospital every day and made a very close group of friends. The majority of the people that she talked to on a day-to-day basis were the friends that she made at the hospital from other patients and doctors. Because of this thing that everyone else called the tragedy, she got to see her family from all parts of the world that came and see her. She also got to see her friends, even from way back in high school, that came and contacted her because they heard about this. Now I don't know about you, but as a kid, I couldn't fathom how somebody who was going through so much pain and literally facing death could be so positive, especially when I was sitting there complaining about math homework and mowing the lawn. Now let's get to where Onward and Upward comes into play. And we're gonna skip forward to the day that my grandmother passed. I visited my grandmother about a week before she passed, but throughout that next week my dad stayed with her. On the day that she passed, she woke up in pain. However, she still woke up with a smile. She was still grateful that her immediate family was there with her. My dad said at the breakfast table, the only words that she said the day that she died was onward and upward. As if she still was looking to get better and move on. Now, as a little kid who's very impressionable, that really meant a lot. It taught me that no matter what horrible things you're going through, no matter how bad life seems, there's always a way to look at the positive. There's always a light to focus on. From that day forward, those were the words that I lived by. Onward and upward. Always get better, always move on, no matter what. And literally because of those words, because of my grandmother and the role model she played in my life, it has given me the chance to have all this. To have a loving life, a very blessed life, a family like you guys. That is just incredible to me. And so when Colby and I started social media, we decided what other than just to take that saying and preach that to everybody, onward and upward. It was actually the very first thing I put in my Instagram bio the day that we made all social media. I know a lot of you guys struggle, and life is really, really hard, and sometimes it seems really unfair too. But I think the reason for that is because we are trained by society to focus on the negative rather than the positive. And the reason why I live by onward and upward is because it reminds me that even in the face of death and the absolute worst situation you could possibly imagine, there is always something to be grateful for. So today, if you're sad, if you're on your deathbed, I challenge you, no matter how hard it is, to focus on the good. What can you possibly be grateful for? What can you possibly improve? I know that's a lot for me to ask, just put on your shoulders, and I don't even know what you're going through right now. But as a kid, I needed someone to tell me. I needed my dad to tell me that story of my grandmother passing away for me to finally get it to click, to say that, hey, maybe I should stop focusing on the negative and be grateful. And I swear to you, if you start appreciating things, your life is gonna be so much better. I can't promise that the way that I told the story meant as much to you as it did to me, but I hope at least now, when Colby and I say onward and upward, you at least understand what it means.